Welcome to Friday Vibes. No scripts, just chat. We talk all things food and beverage, and so much more. Feel our vibe and search for Friday Vibes on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And make sure to give us a 5-star review. Now your hosts, me, Alex Baer with Genius Juice, and Wade Yeti.
Hey, we're live.
What an
We are
intro.
live, and how's it going?
Great, man. Good to see you.
Good to see
Always
you. Good to see you. So, welcome everyone to Friday Vibes. As you can see, Alex Baer, me, is not here. It's Wade and my guest host Ari Raz with Coconut Cult. Ari, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. How's everyone out there?
Oh man, this is going to be a lot of fun, and I talked about this a little bit this week. A little bit nervous about the controlling this thing and driving it, but I feel confident that it's going to happen. We're going to figure this thing out. So
I believe in you, Wade.
Yeah, thank you, and very appreciative that you're here with us. And we've got Dima from Guru on here.
What's up, Dima?
I see Jeremy Eisenberg with Checks. How's it going, Jeremy? Yes, we got a few people tuning in, and the live notification I think just went out. So a little backstory, Ari. When I think about my time in California, which was short and sweet, but what's interesting is with COVID and all the limitations and things that were going on while I was out there, I probably met maybe 10. I'm going to say 12 people at the most while I was there. And Ari, you were one of them. And that was really super cool because I think, I think we had lunch once. I know you came down around the time you were transitioning or about to transition to Coconut Cult. Yep. And memory serves me that I think I was one of the first persons you shared that with. And my memory also is that you were one of the first people that I shared that I was leaving California with. So you and I just connected from the beginning, and just super appreciative of you. Tell us what's going on with Coconut Cult and what you've been up to.
Yeah, man. Oh, those early conversations that we had were so helpful for me as I was, planning through that transition. And I think originally, I did meet with you to talk about Once Upon a Farm. And very quickly, I was like, oh, no, this isn't like your typical buyer. Like, this is somebody that I can actually have a conversation with. Not to say that all buyers are like that, but you're not all about, it's not all business, right? And we started talking, and I was like, I'm just going to tell them, like, by the way, I'm not going to be here for much longer. My company doesn't know that, but now you do.
Right.
And I think that really just that level of trust that we could build so fast. Really speaks volumes to just for me, it speaks to volumes your character, the kind of person you are. You're real. You just, you're not all about. It's not all about getting home at the end of the day for you. You're like, I'm here to build real relationships with people, and really I want to support the people behind the brands, not just the brands themselves, not just my bottom line, but it's I'm going to take that a step further, and I've always appreciated that about you.
Thank you. My head's not going to fit in the screen here in a second, but no, I think, it goes without saying, that respect is mutual. And it's something I think, the more you can do that in this business, it pays dividends, right? I mean, we did business on a farm. We're doing business now with Coconut Cult, and you guys are blowing up, and Angel Mia Garcia.
Oh, thank you.
And you guys, here he comes. There's always a heckler in the crowd. That's Gavin. No, Gavin, kidding aside, Gavin hooked me up. I think that's going to be my dinner here after the show's over. Gavin sent me the Blackbird trifecta. I've got a t-shirt, I've got pizza, and I've got wings, which, and Gavin's head won't fit on the screen either, but rave reviews on their wings. Have you had Blackbird pizza or the wings?
I've had the pizza.
Okay.
I loved it. I thought it was really, one of the best in the category, bar none. Very special product. The wings I've only heard about. It sounds like they're pretty good from what I hear though.
Yeah. I know. I've had several people tell me, cover your ears, Gavin. I've had several people tell me that it was the best thing they had at Expo East, honestly. And so in about an hour and some change, give or take, I'm about to give my own review, Gavin. So keep your cell phone open, and we'll be talking later as I text
Do
you.
they have different flavors, or is it just like buffalo?
He's got 3, 4 flavors, I think.
3 or
Gavin,
4 flavors. Okay.
chime in, Gavin. I think he's got 3 or 4 flavors. I know there's a buffalo. Oh, look at this. My wife's assisting me here. There we go. Yes, we've got Texas barbecue.
All right.
Yes, we got Texas barbecue, Korean barbecue, Thai chili, and buffalo, which I think the 2 to start with are buffalo and Korean, and then Thai chili and Texas are coming. So yeah,
Right.
I've heard great things.
Nice.
So there's another plug for Coconut Cult right there.
Mangoes and cream. Thank you, Dima. So yeah, how are things going with Coconut Cult? I joined. So I left Once Upon a Farm, right at the end of July to jump on board this company that I knew was making something really special, but they were going through some challenges, and I think that a lot of early stage brands hit similar walls that they hit, which is essentially, you grow to a certain point, you know how to get to this growth stage, but then that's pretty much it. You don't really know how or what you need to do to grow beyond that. And the brand, and then that's where brands start chasing shiny objects and make a lot of mistakes. It's like when you see the trend, you're like, oh, things are working, and then let's just try new things all the time to keep growing. They started making ice cream when when yogurt was still relatively small. And they took their eye off the yogurt ball. So they spent a whole year really focusing on this ice cream business, when in reality, it was doing well in market, but the ice cream growth and the opportunity for the ice cream to grow compared to, well, you guys actually built a factory to make yogurt. Why don't we do that first? It just took their eye off the ball. So I was able to come in and refocus the brand and the business and get the trajectory back on track to say, we're a yogurt company, first and foremost. Stop making the ice cream. Maybe we'll make it in the future, at some point. But really just taking them back to square one and saying, this is what we do. This is who we are. Now let's go blow this up. So that's been my goal since coming in. It's taken us a long time to figure out the right blend of, marketing and operational capacity, and then also just timing to put everything together and make it work. But yeah, we got to a point where we're able to flip on the marketing machine at the end of August, and since then it's been crazy what we've seen happening.
Yeah, it's like 100 miles an hour, and I tell this people all the time. The analogy I'd give you is back in my restaurant days. Well, obviously I'm in the grocery business now, so I didn't do very good in the restaurant business. But the advice I give people, and probably one of the mistakes I made in the restaurant business, was exactly what you said, is, trying to expand and do too many things, right? I mean, and so I think that's one of the things that I appreciate about that direction that you've given the company and that you're on right now, is that focus. Like, yes, you're a yogurt company, and we're going to do one thing, yogurt, and we're going to do it really well. And you're killing it. And that's the advice I give these restaurateurs now is okay, make a burger, and be a burger place and make the best damn burger you can make, or make the best chicken whatever that is, right? And so now you've got your laser focus on yogurt. And one of the exciting things, and obviously Alex and I have been plugging it, and LinkedIn, friends of the show, have been talking about the flavors. So talk a little bit about the mindset on, okay, what is your mindset with the LTOs? Do you have capacity in mind? You're saying, okay, we're going to produce this many and then we're gone. How often, how frequent, what's that look like for you?
Yeah. So since I joined the company, they were doing LTOs before I joined. So when I joined, they had already done LTOs in the past, and they found a lot of success running these LTOs. And generally they would do 1 to 2 a month, but they weren't consistent. So some months they would do them, some months they wouldn't. And there was really no organization behind it. And every time they planned one, it was usually like right at the last minute. So there was always a scramble to get it accomplished. So the first thing that we put into place was, okay, we know these LTOs can be very powerful in terms of driving excitement, influencer posts, just sort of generating that kind of buzz you want. We know that our LTOs can do that. Let's put some structure behind it. Let's put some planning behind it. So we're not always scrambling at the last minute to get the label in, get the ingredients, put it on the production schedule for our team. Like, let's really think through this like comprehensively and put a plan in place. So literally, like, that's why when I say end of August, like that was the August 22nd, that's when our first limited edition flavor dropped under this new program, which was I believe it was our pina colada. Yeah. So since then, every 2 weeks, we've been dropping a new limited edition flavor every 2 weeks.
Wow.
And to have the kind of operation that can support that is a testament again to that's an awesome cup, to our team, to our production team. Cause we're self-manufacturers. So we're, our production team, shout out to, everyone at Kendall and San Luis Obispo. They crush it. Like they have, like, for the Who Bar, that thing sold out in less than 24 hours. Wow. And that was before our influencer shipments got to the influencers to post. So then we called our production line. We were like, can you guys, make more of this product? They actually worked on Saturday for us so we could pump out another 1,200 jars to sell, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to have listed it on, as available. So, but that's the kind of, situation where there's only so much planning you can do. Once you push that go button, that's when you start to learn, right? And what we're learning is that just like the snowballing effect that happens when, this influencer lets this influencer know about the product, and then they start talking about it, and then their people start talking, and then it just becomes this bigger and bigger web of awareness and demand that's really hard to forecast and predict, and it happens very, very quickly. So the Who Bar is definitely I'd say the most viral yogurt we've made to date. But we're pumping these out every 2 weeks. So we have some really exciting ones lined up for November that I'm not saying they're going to be as viral, but like they should be damn exciting. And at the same time, like with Who Bar, I can tell you right now, like they definitely would love to do another one with us because it was so successful. And then other brands have been coming to us, other influencers have been coming to us saying, hey, we'd love to collab with you as well. So we're definitely like building in this kind of regularly scheduled structure where we can line these up for, I think our next availability is probably April of next year at this point. Like, we're so stacked.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what a great story. I mean, and what I love about it, it's a lot about what we talk here on the show, the community aspect. And so you're building your brand and who, there's this collaboration going together. And I mean, what a great story. And I absolutely concur with that. Between your influencers and I know my LinkedIn was blown up with pictures of people eating that product. I know Stephanie Huey, who's a friend of the show, tagged us a little bit earlier, and Alex, obviously, he loves the product. I think Alex, I think he probably hold a sign on the side of the highway that says will work for Who or Coconut Cult. I mean, he's fans of both products, so that's just a home run for him. Yeah. But that's great stuff, and I really like the strategy behind that. So every 2 weeks, so that's all DTC, right? I mean, you're not doing any retail work on the LTOs right now.
No retail LTOs. We are launching a exclusive LTO for one retailer that's going to launch in December. The other piece is yes, Jeremy, that's right. You do need a solid foundation, 100%. The other thing is that with these LTOs, right, building buzz, building awareness. I mean, TikTok too is another place. I mean, if you search for the Coconut Cult on TikTok in August, you would have seen maybe 2 posts or 3 posts. If you search Coconut Cult today, you'll see, I don't know, hundreds of posts of people talking about the brand. So we did launch. Part of the strategy was we also launched TikTok at the same time for the first time, and some of our videos have gone viral in a really positive way. Our founder Noah is just he's like a very charismatic dude. He is a true 100%, lives the brand's values to the nth degree. And when he speaks, I think a lot of people really take it to heart, because these are products that healed him personally. And it's such a personal story for him that it resonates, and it is a healing product. It does benefit so many more people. So the fact that through TikTok, it's also bringing this whole like new generation of people who are hearing about the brand for the first time and want to try it. Yes, it's increasing our online sales with these LTOs, but what it's also doing is it's driving a ton of people. So just to give you some, like, as an example, over the past 28 days, we've had over 130,000 people visit our website.
Wow.
Normally in a normal month, we'd get about like 12,000 people, which isn't bad, but like that's like a normal month in 2022, that'd be a normal month. So over 130,000 people visited our website in the last 30 days. Over 50,000 went straight to our store locator. So that just tells you a little bit about the power of what we're able to accomplish and build. No demos, no ad spend. It's pretty incredible. And it's a superpower that I've always known the brand has had, but like to be able to unlock it in this way, and this is just the beginning. Like, we have a long way to go, a lot more to build, a lot more things to figure out, but it's just really exciting to like, I called Noah and I said, it's kind of like you can feel the rumbling of the rocket ship engine, but right. To some degree, like, we don't have a rocket ship yet. We have like I call it a tin can. Like, we're building the rocket ship as it's taken off, because our facility, our manufacturing process, we're bringing in tons of new equipment. We're installing upgrades left and right. November, every weekend is booked to install equipment and just get our capacity up, because we need to, be ready to fulfill all this existing demand and what we believe will snowball into future demand as well.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I want to come back to the TikTok thing in a minute, but we got a couple questions. So, Dima asking about Amazon for you, and if there's any challenges with it.
So all of our online business is through our own website. We don't really do Amazon. The only Amazon listings we have are the Amazon listings for Whole Foods delivery. So yeah, no challenges with Amazon, because we're not really on it.
And then we got Gavin talking about about building a brand. Obviously, you just talked about it. You're in a rocket ship that's kind of rumbling right now. And it's getting ready to take off. But how does it impact? And actually, that's where I was going to kind of go, the POs for retail. And I guess one of the questions I had was, do you get any pushback from your retail accounts that say, hey, I want that LTO, or what are you going to do for an LTO for retail? How's that look for you?
Yeah, like I said, we're launching our first LTO exclusively with a retailer that we've had just a very long relationship with. It's a small retailer based in LA. You can probably guess what it is. But
yes, it's the first one, right?
but we can do that because it's a small retailer. It's
right.
Based in LA. Like, it's not that challenging to do for them, but like to scale so some LTOs we could scale. Where it gets tricky is like the Who Bar. So we're like part of the equipment purchases we're making. Okay, right now, if you go to our factory, you'll see the way we fill our yogurt by jar is people pouring out of a pitcher, jar by jar, hand lidding, jar by jar, hand date stamping, jar by jar.
Wow.
So one of the big upgrades for November that we have planned is we're finally installing a fully automated line that will fill, lid, and date stamp each jar. And then we already have a labeler and a tamper band machine. So for the first time, all those processes will be automated. But when we make our LTOs, most of them involve, crumbling cookies or putting a chocolate bar, doing some crazy stuff. So it's not going to work in that automated line. It's not, right. You can't use the filling machines for that. So it's still going to be a very manual hand filled process. So unless the LTO is something we could use our filling machine on, it will be only limited to direct to consumer, because I mean, we make like I think in one shift we can only make like 1,200 Hubar jars in one shift. That's it. Whereas, on another shift, we could, with the automation, we could probably make 5,000 jars. So it's it's time off the line that's very, significant, but we do it because it's also part of our marketing. It's part of our brand building. And then ultimately, like, the D2C business is profitable for us,
Right.
which is, I think, very hard to achieve when you're selling, anything online.
Right. And I want to dig into that a little bit as far as your path moving forward, like what your, without divulging any company trade secrets. I'm not looking for dollars or anything like that, but if we're talking just pure percentages right now, D2C versus retail percentages, how's that look?
So yeah, D2C is more, it's a little bit more profitable than retail. I would say that the challenge with retail, the reason why retail is less profitable, frankly, is because so much of our retail business is the 8-ounce jars. So we're, and not to say that they're cheap, but we're selling them for, I'd say, especially the way we price, like, we're selling them in retail for between, $8.99 up to $11.99. I think in Fresh Market we have a little bit of a better price, but I think $8.99 is kind of the standard, like
Right.
$8.99, $9.99, $10.99 kind of level. And but it sells quite well at those price points. The reason why retail also gets hit is because of trade spend. Whereas we can control that on D2C. Like, we don't really do, like, we used to do promos. We don't do promos anymore. We used to give promo codes. We used to, run sales on our website to try and drum up volume, but like, we realized that's not necessary. Whereas, in retail, like, it's kind of hard to tell UNFI, hey, I'm not going to do any OIs this year. They don't like that. It's hard to tell a retailer you're not going to do any trade promotions. So that definitely hits your bottom line quite hard. It makes it profitable. So, I don't want to give exact margins, but I can tell you that retail is okay. It's not terrible. It's like definitely healthy, I would say, for a CPG. But D2C is like about 15 to 20 points above retail.
So what I was looking for is what percentage of your business is D2C versus retail?
Right now, it's crazy to say this, but so if I look at October, it's like 50-50.
Okay.
But November retail is, I'm trying to think of the percentage right now. So I don't want to give numbers. So like, we're growing so fast. Okay. So our sale, if you look at our sales in August and then you look at our sales in October is double what August was. And when I look to November, when I look at the POs that we already have for November from UNFI and KeHE and Rainforest, our distributors, it's already, and we still have a couple, I think we have like a week and a half left to place orders, but it's already like our biggest sales month of the year before D2C comes in. So, yeah, so I'm a little scared because, my team, I know my team can handle it, but I'm just like, it's just scary to see, like, I call my CEO, I'm like, are you sure we can handle this? Like, this is very different from what we were doing in August,
Right.
And fulfillment perspective, building pallets, filling out D2C orders, all of it.
So what's interesting about that, and we'll take a break here and I'll refresh everybody. But what's interesting about that is as you grow in retail, obviously you can turn the switch off on your website, right? You can say sold out and I don't have to do anything else. I'm done. But as you look at retail, if you shut that switch off, you're going to be in a world of trouble, right? I mean, your retailers expect you to have product. And the worst thing for me, speaking from a retail perspective, that I don't want empty shelves. No. So you have to be able to balance that. So I guess before we reset everything here, I'm wondering for you, as you look 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the road, what does that percentage, you mentioned it was just 50-50. What's your ideal percentage moving forward, knowing that you're kind of an anomaly with that D2C business? What does it look like as you forecast down the road?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'd like to see it be more like 70% retail, 30% D2C.
Okay. Okay.
I definitely want retail to be the priority for our business. I think with scale, margins improve. With scale, everything kind of gets better.
Right.
And our challenge is, how do you scale without diminishing the quality of your product? Because right now we make our product in such a unique way. I mean, it's the reason why we have our own production facility is, the founders couldn't find a co-packer that was willing to, ferment yogurt in glass, which is what we do. We ferment in glass. We don't ferment in stainless steel or plastic totes like most yogurt brands. We ferment in glass, and we don't heat pasteurize the yogurt. We ferment it, and then we pour it in the jars and seal it, and that's it. So it's like an old-fashioned style. It's an old-fashioned yogurt, real yogurt, highly probiotic. We can't lose that. No matter what we make, no matter how much we make, we can't lose that. So it really comes down to just growing in a very conscientious manner. And, I think that, it's all about just making sure that you have the right mindset, the right people in place who have not just the best interests of the bottom line, but the best interests of what made the company special in the first place at heart. Yeah, I mean, I could talk about that for days, but like when I first came in, my first immediate thought was like, why are we making our own product? Like, why don't we work with a co-packer? What's wrong with that? And then I started to talk to co-packers and learn about their process for making plant-based yogurt. And it was really eye-opening to me to see how different it was. And then I tried all the other yogurts out there, and I knew that we were really making something so special that couldn't be replicated with a different process.
That's great. That's great. All right, let me catch up here a little bit because, all right, we've covered most of these questions. I do need to shout out our sponsor. We will be going back to later in the show. We'll be talking about Brandjectory, but Susan Bryanton and Tom Malengo, they're sponsors with Brandjectory today. We're going to go back to them a little bit later.
Love Brandjectory. And they do a great job too. He's somebody I've known for many, many years in the industry. Have a lot of respect. He's such a good man.
He's great. And Stephanie Huey, who I referenced earlier, she talked about your key lime pie limited edition.
Yeah,
I don't know. Do you know Stephanie Ari?
I've never met her in person, but I'm definitely I know her through LinkedIn. Hi, Stephanie, and thank you so much. The key lime pie is one that that's one, if you want to talk about like an LTO that we want to bring to retail, that's definitely on the top, like that's on the top like 10, top 5 list, or even top 3 list. So
awesome. And she had another comment right behind that about with regards to Noah.
Yeah. Stephanie, if you have TikTok, check him out on TikTok too, because he's going a little deeper there as well. But thank you for following us on Instagram and checking out the content. It's really meaningful.
And then Laurel Orley with I don't know, do you know Laurel? Laurel's with Daily Crunch. She's one of the founders of Daily Crunch. And so it's great because I was able to catch up with Laurel and her team this week. I was one of their mentors with SKU, with the SKU cohort, and we try and catch up as mentors in the team every quarter, if not more often. So obviously she's
that brand like all over the place these days.
Yeah, great product. I'm kind of biased, but that's okay. Okay, so we'll go back to some questions here. We've got Gavin talking about 16 ounce. So what choosing 16 ounce, what the mindset behind that? Do you have any insight as far as that goes?
So originally the founders launched with a 32 ounce jar, which they sold, I think, in very limited quantities in a couple of natural food stores in Santa Barbara.
What was that retail like?
It was 30 something. I don't know.
I was gonna say that's like limited to LA, like certain parts of the country at that point, right?
Exactly. Like, yeah, pretty much. But that worked. So I think that the idea behind the 16 ounce was to make something that'd be more palatable to wider distribution. 16 ounce it's interesting. So we get a lot of pushback from buyers on the 16 ounce. Wherever we have the 16 ounce yogurt next to the 8 ounce, the 16 ounce always outsells the 8 ounce, dollars and units. And I think that it's just a testament to, if you're already paying X amount for the 8 ounce, you look at the 16 ounce, you're like, that's actually a better value. I love this yogurt. I know I'm going to eat it. It's going to give me 16 servings of, great probiotics. Then they buy it. It's actually, and if you look at SPINS data, I always like to point this out to buyers. The 16 ounce original yogurt is the number one on a dollars per week per unit basis, the number one best-selling plant-based yogurt in the natural channel for that reason, right? It's an expensive product, of course, but it doesn't have a high ACV. It has a very low ACV, but where it's located, where it is, it always tends to do very well. So any buyers out there, if you carry in the 8 ounce, go consider putting in the 16 ounce, see how it does right next to it.
Right on. And Martin's talking about the serving size being 3 bites.
2 ounces, man. 1 ounce, 1 ounce.
Right.
That's what we say. That's what we say. We
right.
shouldn't though, because you're right. Like I personally will go through half a jar, no problem.
And half a jar is probably being a little bit you're
modest.
giving yourself
being modest.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think there's more than one of us on this that have crushed it.
You know what I do? Like I'll have the jar in my fridge and like I'm working from my house and I'm like, gosh, I just need like a bite of something like sweet and
right.
And I'll get a spoonful, take it, come back. 20 minutes later, I'm back for another one.
Right.
It is that kind of product for sure.
Yeah, and with the products you sent me with the pina colada, that's exactly what I try to have one either like late at night or in the morning, and just that was it. And it's hard, right? Because one bite is like, wow, I want another bite.
I could go for more of that.
Exactly. And I think this is important, and I'm sure with you at the helm, this is your intent, right? That to protect the current quality, because that's goes back to what I said about kind of being true to who you are, and you're making the best product out there in the market right now. And the minute you deviate from that cult following that you have, the cult behind your name, right? You're going to not be speaking to them like you are now.
Yeah. I can't tell you how important that is to me personally. Like, and honestly, we are just now starting to find a path forward to really expand capacity without changing the way we make our yogurt. The way we make our yogurt is not built for scale, but there is a way to scale old-fashioned, old-school yogurt that's some very large brands are still doing to this day, mostly in Europe, but there are ways to scale this old-fashioned style that we're going to really focus on building next year because we're going to need it. It's the only way that we can grow and really get our products out to more and more people, get our gross margins to improve so we can, my goal would, again, not to say that I don't think we'll ever not be a premium priced yogurt, but I'd love to see us, be more price competitive because I would say we're ultra premium priced right now. Like I'd love to see us to, become more price competitive at the premium level, because I want this to be more accessible. I want it to get into more people's hands. I really believe that it's helped me tremendously, like with my gut. And I know it's helped a lot of people out there too. So it's definitely a product that I think does good in the world. So why wouldn't I want it to get out there?
Right. And I think, when you talk about being true to yourself and who you are, the best analogy I can give you is I'll relate it, obviously I'm not a manufacturer and I'm not anything like that. I'll relate it to people. Right now I have an opening on my team, and I've made a statement to my team and to anybody that wants to listen that I'll leave that opening for 6 months to find the right person, because I don't want to cheapen the team that I have And they do such a great job, and I say that 100 times a day probably how great my team is. And it's so important for me to find the right person to fit in with that team, that I would leave that opening there until that right person comes along, then put someone in that would be detrimental or not the right fit for the team. So I think it kind of correlates what you're talking about with your product, and not cheapening the brand, and staying true to who you are, and making sure that you maintain that base business that you have, because that's how you got to where you are. And if you deviate from that, you're going to have problems, right?
You know what? 100%. And on that team note, I mean, I actually have had to learn that the hard way, because when I first came into the coconut cult, I thought I was coming in with all the answers. I was like, these guys need to learn. I need to show them what's what. They're, sure, I knew, like, I changed things for the, certain things that needed to be changed. But then, like, there were certain things that maybe didn't need to change, or certain things that were working better than I thought they were. And I didn't take enough time to really understand the culture, the process, the way people work together before I made one key mistake. I hired somebody that I should not have hired to work in our plant. And I had to let him go literally 2 or 3 weeks later. And it was one of the hardest things I had to do, because, I was the one who made the call to bring him in the first place, thinking that we needed that person. But it was like, well, we do kind of need somebody like that. But, like, I didn't wait. I wasn't patient. I was, like, trying to make change happen faster than the company was ready to change. And sometimes that's the worst thing you can do for a team. And I learned that lesson fairly early. And by learning that lesson, it kind of forced me to take a step back, right? To, like, okay, maybe I need to take more time to learn before I actually start to react, or before I start to make decisions that have these longer term implications.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is I've been using this example a lot this week as I talk about this. Is back in my restaurant days, and again, I'm not a restaurateur anymore, so there's probably a reason behind it. But I digress. I talk about and now I probably have a different mindset when you look at the bigger team, as far as everybody contributing. But back then it was like, okay, when you're hiring a dishwasher, you pretty much just need a pulse. You need somebody that has 2 arms. Well, I take that back. You don't even need 2 arms. You just need someone that can, with 1 arm, can open a dishwasher and shut it down. And I say that, I'm not being, I'm being silly. But really, that mentality is I don't need anyone that's a rocket scientist. I just need someone to wash dishes, and now, my mindset is like every single person, and that was younger Wade talking, right? So right now, every single person, it doesn't matter if it's the person doing data entry, it doesn't matter if it's the person signing bills, it doesn't matter if it's operations, marketing, merchandising, what have you. Every single person matters. And I think that was part of my education in the process, is understanding that yes, even that dishwasher matters. You can't have that mentality that, oh, whoever it is that I put in back there is going to work, right? And I think it's taken me a long time to learn that, but now that I have, I think it's kind of enlightening and eye-opening for me. So kudos to you for, you have to fall down to get back up, and so you've made that mistake and you've learned from it, and it's kind of, helping you with your path moving forward. So okay, so we've got let's see, we've got Dima, hire fast, fire faster, and Gavin's got a question for you.
Yeah. Good question. What does my team look like? So basically, so when I came into the company, there was a leadership team of the founders. There's 3 founders. One of them is finance, and then the other 2, one is kind of our creative director. He's a graphic designer. And then the founder, Noah, is our lead. He's kind of, the face of the brand. He creates all our social content and interfaces with our influencers and develops brand collaboration partnerships. And then they have two folks on the marketing team. I then brought on a COO. He has a supply chain director. And then there's there's a product manager and a production manager that work they're basically full-time running our kitchen. We have 2 shifts every day, morning shift, night shift. So they're running that. And then they have a kitchen team under them of part-timers, about 7 people all in. We have a part-time HR person. We have a full-time food safety person who I hired. Really great food safety person. And then we have our fulfillment team. So we have a fulfillment lead, and then he has his guys under him who and gals who do all the D2C and wholesale packing. And that's it. I'm the only salesperson. I work with a broker, thank God. Without them, I don't know how the hell I would get anything submitted on time. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's a lot of people. Yeah, but it's a lot of people, but we're running our own factory. So, if I was working with a co-man, it would be quite a different situation. But yeah, it's very helpful to have the right seats, the right people in the right seats to help get this done every day.
But that's grown as you've been there, right? I mean, how different is that from what it's been just over a year now since you've been there, right?
Yeah, when I was there, so really it hasn't grown that much. When I was there, there was, there were the kitchen team was installed. There was the fulfillment team was there. We have new people a new person leading fulfillment. And we have and there was a food safety person who I replaced. We brought in a new person, but the really only new hires that I made were the COO, and then the supply chain person. Because when I joined the business, I walked into the factory on the first day, and I realized that they were buying all their coconut water for their yogurt. Like literally those Whole Foods 365 bottles, like they had pallets of it that they were just ordering direct through UNFI. And I was like, that's not efficient. Like, we got to do something about that.
Cost effective, let alone efficient, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of reasons. So I brought in a great supply chain director who's helped us tremendously. I mean, we buy, not only do we buy containers worth of ingredients at a time now, but we're getting them, to very specific specifications in very specific packaging and weight that work for us. That, she's pulled a lot of strings to make some really incredible things happen and changed how our factory operates in fundamental ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So sometimes on the broadcast, we don't see who the user is. They're probably using mobile. So does Chuza, and I haven't had Chuza. I'm familiar with the brand and I respect what they're doing, but I haven't had it. So does it go well with yogurt?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You mix it with the mango.
It's a great product. It really does. It looks it's very
so
interesting.
Good. If you like if you like chimango or like that, that
tahini.
kind of like spicy tahini on dried fruit, like these guys kill it. They make such good products, and they just got into Meyer, and they're growing quite rapidly. It's my good friend Danny Schwartz it's his brand here. He's here in San Diego. Really good guy. I have an army. Yeah, I guess it kind of feels like it, honestly. Like when I go to the factory, I'm just like, holy crap, like this is amazing, and all these people are working so hard every day to put, to make miracles happen, as I call it. Congratulations. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Yeah. In my previous role at Once Upon a Farm, we always worked with co-packers, and it's never the same, right? You can't get the same kind of interesting projects completed. You don't have as much visibility into, what do the ingredients look like? Yeah. Thanks, Mac. Go Chuza. That's right. Go. I eat my greens, by the way.
Right.
Another great San Diego brand.
That's right.
Yeah, if I wasn't wearing this, I'd be wearing a Padres hat, but I didn't want to wear it out of,
Well, I threatened to
I might start crying.
I was going to say, our Guardians, former Indians are gone. The Padres are gone.
Yeah.
I threatened to wear a brown shirt today, but I don't know. I haven't been able to bring them any luck, so I'm just we'll just see what happens this week. But yeah, so Mac with I Eat My Greens, it's good to see him doing some big stuff. He's
Yeah,
grown since I've left.
absolutely.
Michael Bendos, you probably know Michael, right?
Yeah. Hi, Michael.
So he wants to know if you can speak to other avenues you feel work when looking to promote effectively, as you know, with regards to obviously with being perishable, you can't do off shelf.
Yeah.
Secondary placements. A lot of places don't have bunkers or end caps or anything like that. So how do you promote effectively? There he goes.
So, and this is a custom, if you can see it.
Nice. Look at that. Look at that.
So, yeah. So, great question. How do you promote effectively? You can't, you don't get secondary placement very often. There are opportunities for secondary placement for perishable brands. I've seen it with Once Upon a Farm, so I know it's possible. But yeah, virtually non-existent for most. Other avenues that work when looking to promote effectively, honestly, like from what I've seen recently, it's all like social. It's like finding ways to really build a viral following and get people to talk about you on social media. I can't recommend a better avenue at this point. Demos, not really. I mean, free trial programs, maybe, but like sending free product to influencers on a regular basis without asking them to do anything. Don't give them affiliate codes. Don't try to sign a contract. Don't work with like one of those grin platforms or anything like that. Don't work with a marketing agency. Like it's either you or like your co-founder or somebody in your company who you really trust on the DMs, reaching out, developing organic relationships, creating content that they will find appealing, ideally all doing it yourself or internally, where it's like true to your heart and coming from an authentic place. That is it. There's really nothing better to generate the kind of awareness and interest in your products that I've ever seen work. I mean, and this is coming from somebody who worked with Jennifer Garner, who, you know, like I know the power of, you know, Jennifer Garner going on the Today Show to talk about your brand. That is very powerful, but how many brands have that ability?
Right. Yeah. I'm actually wearing East End. This is the East End Brewing Company in Pittsburgh right now that I purchased, by the way. But no, I think that's great advice, and I think you know, I said I wanted to get back to the TikTok piece. So strategically, you mentioned how creative Noah is and how good he is with those things. But is there a strategy on TikTok, or is it let's just throw everything against the wall and see what sticks?
You know, originally there was like a very, like we laid out a specific, okay, let's post this kind of content, and this, and kind of like that. But it's really taken it's morphed, right? You learn, you see what's working, you see what's don't working in real time, and you adjust. Obviously, having these LTOs every 2 weeks, it sort of gives us a platform of like something really interesting to talk about every 2 weeks and showcase. But in between, there's so much other content that we can talk about. Right now, a lot of the content on TikTok that Noah's producing is like, it's all talking about how nobody can find our yogurt in store because we're sold out, and people are going on like literal hunts to find our yogurt, which sucks. Like I wish it was more widely available. We're working on it, but it just is what it is right now. That kind of thing. But then obviously just talking about the what makes our product different, what makes our product unique, why Noah believes that people need to stay away from certain ingredients, and what products contain those ingredients. So some of the most viral posts we've ever put on Instagram, for instance, were all about staying away from seed oils, right? And I know right, Mark Samuel, I think he just posted with I Want. He's like, hey guys, I just want you to know I'm going to get out of seed oils. Like that's a big move, you know. And why is he doing that? Why are people talking about seed oils? Well, there's definitely like Noah could tell you more about it, but they have to use a chemical to extract the seed oils. in most cases, unless it's like really specific, like cold pressed. There's certain seed oils that are extracted in a very natural way, but oh no, sorry, Tom. Yeah, man, I'm crying too. It
Yeah.
sucks. I want because I need it for myself. Like I went to Whole Foods yesterday and I wanted to buy it for my wife and I, and it wasn't there, and I was really disappointed.
So with that the direction you're going with TikTok. So
Yeah.
is there I'm posting every day, I'm posting 3 times a day. Is there anything like that as far as directionally you're going, or is it just kind of
So
whatever
yeah,
Noah comes up with?
yeah, it's kind of, I think it's basically at least 4 times a week, if not every day. I mean, usually less on the weekends, but whatever. So the way it works is like you post 4 or 5 times a week. Every 2 to 3 posts will, like most posts will get a couple thousand views, and then one post will get 30,000, and then the next post will get like 500,000, and then you go back in time, and then posts that had 4,000 now have 20,000. So it's the cool thing about TikTok is it keeps like feeding videos into people's For You pages over and over again, and it never really ends. So it kind of like certain videos will just catch onto this like algorithmic flywheel, and
It takes
voila,
off. It takes
takes
off.
off.
And I think that's something that there's so many brands that are doing it very, very well. And there's so many people that are just still either aren't on board or haven't figured it out yet, because I've seen so many people have the same story you do. Is like, oh, this one just went bonkers, right? And you talked about having the best month you've had. And I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, but that probably was somewhat correlated to that TikTok video, right?
Yes. So actually it was, there was an original spike mid-September when I talked about 121,000 people visiting our website, or 130,000 now. There was an original spike mid-September that led to it was all from this one TikToker who has like 3.2 million followers, and she posted a couple of videos about the yogurt, and that started it. I mean, that like triggered this huge thing that led to people coming back to our page, and then our video started to go viral. So then that fed into a whole other loop, which then fed into other loops. And now again, if you go into TikTok and you just search the coconut call, you'll see tons and tons of user generated content, people making videos left and right about the products that again didn't exist in August. So our job really is to make sure that Noah is supported in doing that work consistently. Obviously, it's not easy to be the face and to also be the guy like responding to the comments, responding to the DMs. Like he has somebody who helps tremendously, but like it's still it's taxing, it's draining, and
Right.
it's definitely a cup you have to keep filled, because if that is the core of your marketing strategy and like what's really working, you need to make sure that that is built to last and be sustainable. And that's a
Right.
big part of what we need to figure out, what we need to focus on, especially going into 2023, because like the opportunity that we have right now is tremendous. And I'm just really excited to take it, to grab hold of it, because I know so many new people are getting introduced to our products for the first time, and I don't want to disappoint them. I want to give them the best possible thing that we can and the best experience we can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. So we've got to do this little segment on the show that talks about our sponsor, and I'm going to try and figure this out. So I was going to say, bear with me here. I'm going to try and figure this out. Let's see. Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
Friday freebies.
All right. So you've watched the show. You've participated in the show. So typically, what we do is we ask our listeners, viewers, whatever you want to call them, something that's we've talked about somewhere, a question somewhere during the show. But before we do that, I want you to think about it, because I'm going to put you on the spot and come up with the questions. Okay. So think about that. We've talked about a lot during the course of the show, something hopefully that if we've kept some people throughout the duration of the show, something that they can get. But I want to talk about this week's sponsor. and it's Brandjectory. Okay, and so I have to put my radio voice on now. Brandjectory is designed to help CPG brand founders from seed to Series A build an investor-ready business and meet, connect, interact, learn from, and build relationships with CPG investors and industry experts. Brandjectory now has more than 115 premium brands, 240 brands in total, more than 85 engaged and active investors, more than 75 supporting industry experts, and 500 plus investors in their network. They've now created several investments and features. They have a widely acclaimed knowledge base of over 200 original articles designed not just to help brands build sound businesses, but understand what investors want and need to know about the business. They have a brand profile with one-on-one consulting and review to best present your brand to investors and be discovered by investors. They have a monthly founder investor meetup where you can learn directly from investors and then connect in small group settings. They have the Orbit, which is newly revamped and launched with more mentors, more choices, that features one-on-one coaching from investors and industry experts on your specific question or need. The Space Chatter, a monthly founder-only forum to share knowledge, experience, contacts, etc., often with special guests to answer questions. And I think they're trying to catch me on this one because they also did a September Brandjectory Pitch Slam that had a amazing co-host, yours truly, that awarded more than $100,000 in cash and prizes from over 30 industry sponsors. So all that you get for $379 a year. So today what we're giving away is a chance to get mentoring and coaching from one of their more than 100 Brandjectory Orbit mentors. So we have 2 winners that are going to get a chance to sign up for a half-hour coaching session with the mentor of their choice. So that's really important, right? And we'll talk about that here in a second. Where you get to go in and see their list of mentors, right? And say, okay, I need help with, whatever it is, whether it's operations, whether it's marketing, whether it's merchant, whatever it is, they have their list of mentors. And you get to go in there and say, that's what I want help with. If you win this prize today, that's something that you get to do. So, all right, were you able to come up with, we need 2 questions. Were you able to come up with 1?
Sure.
Okay.
So I only have 2 months. Okay. So earlier in the show, I mentioned I said the specific date that we basically started our new limited edition program. What was the date that we started this new marketing initiative?
Very cool. Very cool. And so history here, I've learned from experience, there's a little bit of a delay and we'll start seeing comments coming up. So while we're waiting for that to come up, Ari, like usually we like to talk about what we're going to do this weekend. So you have any plans for the weekend, Halloween weekend?
Yeah. So let's see. Halloween weekend is a little interrupted because I have to be in LA for my father's birthday. So we're having a big celebration with my family. My brother's flying down from NorCal. It's going to be a big thing Saturday night. So it's kind of interrupting my Halloween flow a little bit with a family here. But on Monday, I'm really excited because we got our son. I have a 2.5-year-old, and he's so excited to wear he's got this little taekwondo. It's so cute. He got the little white belt here. He's got the taekwondo costume. So we're gonna go trick or treating on Monday, and
that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so we got a couple answers coming in here. Is that right?
That's right.
Boom, boom. Okay, so Jeremy is the president of Chex Finer Foods out of the Northeast, one of our distributors, one of our great distributors, I should say. So Jeremy, email FridayVibes100@gmail.com, and I'm guessing you're probably going to want to gift that prize to a brand or someone that you work with that could use the prize.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Jeremy's a great partner. So we need another question. Do you have another question by chance? Gavin, what was this? What date was that? Gavin, come on. You're better than that, Gavin.
All right.
So do you have another question?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
This one's for Danny. What products does this brand make?
There you go. Somebody's got to get this. Yeah, Jeremy, like I said, Friday Vibes, plural 100 at gmail.com. And if you have the name of the brand, or just reach out and we can help you. We can help put you in contact with Brandjectory. So Tom Malengo, Tom's all over it. He's all over it. So this weekend, I say this all the time, Halloween is my wife's favorite holiday of the year. It's hard to see with the angle that I have right now. We've got a lot of Halloween direction. Nah, you can't see it. Forget it. So we live in a gated complex that's mostly adults. So we are actually going to be going to a local place and do a trunk or treat and give away some candy to some kids. Since we can't give it away here, we're going to go do that and probably put on some costumes and be silly. And looking forward to it. So pretty sure that Mac nailed it, right?
Yeah. Good job,
okay.
Mac.
And Mac can obviously take advantage of this. Mac being an emerging brand himself with I Eat My Greens. So Mac, Friday Vibes 100 at gmail.com and reach out there or with Susan and Tom, and we'll get you hooked up. And Ari, I don't know, you talked a little bit about the cult. Like maybe you might want to sneak something additional above and beyond Brandjectory.
Yeah, I think we can do something.
All right, so we got to talk about a third question. And oh my gosh, here goes Bendos, for crying out loud. Everyone needs a Jekyll, and it's Bendos for me. So I kind of want to make this. I'm kind of loving a softball here, but let's do it. Let's give Alex some props because he's not here today. So Alex isn't here today. And I want you to tell me why Alex is not on the show today. That's kind of a softball, but it's okay. Look at that. Simone knows where to get coconut.
Kudos to Fresh Market. 100% agree with that.
Simone knows where to get it. There you go. Yeah, Daniel, I do need to try it. I'm a San Diego. I'm not a native. I'm an alumni. Is that what I would call myself at this point? I'm an alumni.
Yeah. I mean, you're always welcome back. You're greatly missed.
Oh, look at that. Look at Martin.
Oh, give me a break.
That hurts. At least I have facial hair. That's the differentiator, Martin. Gavin, wave kid. All right. I'll give it to you. Gavin. Gavin gets it. Yes, he gets it. He's got it. So Gavin, you know the drill. Reach out, get your coconut called on. So Ari, it's been awesome. We're a little bit, I was trying to keep us within an hour. I'm an hour and 3 minutes. Appreciate it, brother. It's so good talking to you. I mean, I feel like we haven't missed a beat. It's been, my goodness. How long has it been? It's been,
I think like the last time I saw you were like on a plane basically. So
yeah, I was going to say, or on my way, right? I was leaving.
Yeah,
so
you were close.
Well, I'm coming out in December. Hopefully, we might have a minute to catch up. Even just a cup of coffee and a quick bro hug. My wife's burning down the house. I think that's a sign that. I think that's a sign we have to end this show. That's tremendous. That's tremendous. Ari,
thank you, Wade.
Great, brother.
See you, buddy.